Halloween is supposed to be fun. Kids dress up, run door to door, and come home with bags overflowing with candy. Parents sort through the haul, maybe steal a few pieces for themselves, and everyone's happy. But what if the scariest thing this Halloween isn't the creepy decorations or the horror movies? What if it's actually inside the candy bowl? Every year, Americans buy over 600 million pounds of Halloween candy. That's enough sugar to give the entire country a toothache and a lawyer. We trust the big brands because they're familiar, because we grew up with them, because the commercials are cute and the wrappers are shiny. But behind those bright colors and nostalgic jingles, some of the most popular candy brands are hiding ingredients that might make you rethink your entire trick-or-treat strategy. We're talking about chemicals banned in other countries, corporate scandals that would make a villain blush, and ingredient lists that read like a science experiment gone wrong. And the wildest part? You've probably been handing this stuff out for years without a second thought. In this video, we're exposing 5 major candy brands that dominate Halloween. And trust me, by the end, you might just become the house that hands out apples. Or at least the house that reads labels first. If you've ever grabbed a bag of candy without checking what's actually inside, drop a comment and let us know which brand you buy every year. And hit that subscribe button, because we're about to unwrap some truths these companies don't want on the ingredient list. Let's start with a brand so iconic, it practically invented Halloween chocolate. You know the name, you know the taste, and you definitely don't know what's really in it. Hershey's is as American as Halloween itself. The brown wrapper, the silver foil, that chocolate taste you've known since childhood. But here's the thing about that signature taste. It might actually be the taste of vomit. No, seriously. Hershey's chocolate contains butyric acid, the same compound found in Parmesan cheese and, yes, human vomit. It's a byproduct of their milk processing technique called controlled lipolysis, which they've used since the early 1900s. Europeans are so disgusted by American chocolate that they literally describe it as vomit-flavored. One viral post from a British exchange student said, "I thought Americans were pranking me with fake chocolate. Turns out that's just Hershey's." But the butyric acid is just the beginning. Recent testing by Consumer Reports and other watchdog groups found concerning levels of lead and cadmium in various chocolate brands, with Hershey's products appearing on the list. Heavy metals in chocolate come from contaminated soil where cocoa is grown, and while trace amounts exist in many foods, the levels in some Halloween chocolates are raising eyebrows among health experts. Then there's the cocoa content issue. In many countries, Hershey's wouldn't legally qualify as chocolate because it contains so little actual cocoa. Former factory workers have claimed the company uses more wax and vegetable oil than cocoa butter to cut costs. One anonymous employee said, "We used to joke that we were making candles you could eat. That nostalgic flavor you remember? It might just be Stockholm Syndrome wrapped in foil." And let's not forget Hershey's connection to child labor in cocoa farms. Despite promises to clean up their supply chain going back to 2005, investigative reports continue finding children working in dangerous conditions on farms that supply major chocolate companies. Your fun-size bar has a not-so-fun backstory. But at least Hershey's looks like chocolate. The next brand hides its problems behind bright colors, cartoon mascots, and the promise that it melts in your mouth, not in your hand. Too bad they didn't mention what it does inside your body. M&M's promise to melt in your mouth, not in your hand. But what about what they do to your body after you swallow them? Those bright, shiny candies might look fun, but the ingredients inside tell a different story. Let's talk about titanium dioxide, the chemical that makes M&M's colors pop. It's the same ingredient used in paint, sunscreen, and plastics to create that brilliant white shine. Sounds delicious, right? Here's the kicker. The European Union banned titanium dioxide in food as of 2022 after studies suggested it could damage DNA and cause inflammation. But in America? Still perfectly legal, still in your candy bowl. Then there are the artificial dyes. Red 40, Yellow 5, Yellow 6, Blue 1. These aren't just quirky names for a rainbow. They're synthetic chemicals linked to hyperactivity in children and potential allergic reactions. Multiple studies have shown connections between artificial food dyes and increased behavioral issues in kids, which is why European versions of M&Ms use natural colorings instead. But American M&Ms, they went with the chemistry set approach. One parent posted online, "My kid ate a handful of M&Ms at a birthday party and couldn't sit still for 4 hours. I thought it was just sugar. Turns out it was Red 40 doing what Red 40 does." Another commenter responded, "At least your kid's Halloween costume will match their artificially colored insides." Mars factories, which produce M&Ms, have also faced their share of health inspection failures. Reports from various facilities have cited issues ranging from improper sanitation to rodent activity. One inspection record from a Mars plant noted evidence of pest intrusion near packaging area. That's health inspector speak for, "We found mice where your candy gets wrapped." And those fun-size bags? There's nothing fun about cramming that much sugar and questionable additives into a tiny package marketed to kids. It's portion control designed by people who've never met portion control. But if you think colorful chemicals are bad, wait until you hear about the next brand. This one doesn't just have ingredient problems. It has an entire reputation built on scandals that make candy controversies look like child's play. Nestlé makes Kit Kats, Crunch Bars, Butterfinger, and Baby Ruth. Basically, they own your Halloween haul. They also own one of the worst corporate ethics records in modern history. This isn't just about questionable ingredients. This is about a company that's been at the center of controversy after controversy for decades. Let's start with the water. Nestlé has been aggressively extracting water from drought-stricken communities, bottling it, and selling it back at a profit. In California, during some of the worst droughts on record, Nestlé continued pumping millions of gallons from national forests. Communities literally running out of water while Nestlé fills plastic bottles. One activist put it bluntly, "They're monetizing a human right while people suffer." Then, there's the baby formula scandal that sparked global boycotts. In the 1970s and 80s, Nestlé aggressively marketed formula in developing countries, convincing mothers that formula was better than breastfeeding. The problem? Many families couldn't afford enough formula or didn't have access to clean water to mix it safely. The result was malnutrition and infant deaths. Despite decades passing, Nestlé still faces criticism for unethical marketing practices in vulnerable regions. But wait, it gets worse. Child labor in cocoa farms. Investigative journalists have repeatedly found children, some as young as 5 or 6 years old, working in dangerous conditions on farms that supply Nestlé. The company has been promising to clean up its supply chain since 2005. It's now 2025, still finding the same problems. One documentary showed children using machetes and carrying heavy loads in intense heat. That Kit Kat in your candy bowl has a backstory that's anything but sweet. A former Nestlé employee turned whistleblower said, "The company talks about ethics in boardrooms and ignores them in the field. It's all PR and no follow-through." And when customers started boycotting, Nestlé's response was essentially to rebrand and wait it out. Nestlé is also one of the world's top plastic polluters. Those colorful Halloween wrappers? They're contributing to environmental destruction on a massive scale. Every piece of candy comes with a side of guilt you can't recycle. At least Nestlé's problems are mostly about business practices. The next brand's issues are literally inside the candy itself, and according to a lawsuit, they might be toxic enough to be unfit for human consumption. Yes, really. Skittles wants you to taste the rainbow, but that rainbow might include a dose of titanium dioxide that Europe decided was too dangerous for human consumption. In 2022, a lawsuit against Mars, the company that makes Skittles, alleged that the candy contains levels of titanium dioxide that make it unfit for human consumption. Yes, unfit for human consumption. Those are the actual words used in the legal filing. Titanium dioxide is the same stuff used in paint, sunscreen, and even some plastics to create bright white pigments. It makes colors pop and gives that signature Skittles shine. The problem? Studies have linked titanium dioxide nanoparticles to DNA damage, inflammation, and potential harm to the digestive system. France banned it in food back in 2020. The entire European Union followed suit in 2022, but in America, it's still totally fine to put in candy marketed to children. Here's the wild part. Skittles sold in Europe use natural colorings instead, so Mars knows how to make the candy without titanium dioxide. They just choose not to in the United States. It's cheaper to use the chemical version, and until American regulations catch up or lawsuits force their hand, they have no incentive to change. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. Europe looked at the science and said no. America looked at the profit margin and said, go. Another user posted a side-by-side comparison of ingredient labels. European Skittles, natural colors from plants and minerals. American Skittles, a chemistry lab's greatest hits. The lawsuit sparked massive media attention, with headlines calling Skittles dangerous and toxic. Mars responded by defending their product, claiming it meets all U.S. safety standards, which is technically true. The problem is that U.S. safety standards are years behind Europe's when it comes to food additives. Meeting the minimum legal requirement doesn't mean it's actually safe, it just means it's legal. A food scientist interviewed about the case said, "Just because something is approved doesn't mean it's harmless. It means the harm hasn't been proven enough to justify a ban yet. You're essentially part of the long-term study. So every Skittles pack you hand out this Halloween is a little science experiment, and the kids are the test subjects. 4 brands down, and your candy bowl is looking pretty suspicious. But the 5th brand might be the most nostalgic and the most questionable of them all. This candy has been around for over a century, and it shows, in all the wrong ways." Tootsie Rolls are a Halloween staple. The candy that never seems to go away, never seems to go bad, and never seems to actually taste good. There's a reason this candy is so indestructible, and it's not a comforting one. For years, Tootsie Rolls contained partially hydrogenated oils, which means trans fats. Even after most major candy companies reformulated to remove trans fats due to health concerns, Tootsie Roll Industries dragged its feet. Trans fats are linked to heart disease, increased bad cholesterol, and a whole list of health problems. The company eventually changed the recipe, but only after mounting pressure and changing regulations forced their hand. For a family-owned business that prides itself on tradition, that tradition apparently included ingredients the rest of the industry abandoned. But here's what most people don't know. Tootsie Rolls can last for years without spoiling. Not months. Years. That's not a testament to quality. That's a red flag about what's actually preserving them. The ingredient list is vague at best, loaded with terms like artificial and natural flavors without any real specifics. When a candy can outlive your car's warranty, you have to wonder what's in there keeping it from decomposing. Dentists have a special kind of hatred for Tootsie Rolls. The candy is notoriously difficult to chew, sticks to teeth like industrial glue, and creates the perfect environment for cavities. One dental hygienist joked online, "Tootsie Rolls are basically our retirement plan. Every Halloween, we know business will boom in November." Another dentist was more blunt. "If you want to guarantee your kid needs fillings, just let them eat Tootsie Rolls daily." And let's talk about the choking hazard. Those tiny Tootsie Roll midgies, the ones that show up in every Halloween candy mix, have been cited in multiple choking incident reports. They're small, dense, and chewy in a way that makes them easy to inhale accidentally, especially for younger kids. Parenting forums are full of warnings about Tootsie Rolls being among the most dangerous Halloween candies for toddlers. The nutritional value is practically non-existent. It's essentially sugar, corn syrup, and partially hydrogenated oil with chocolate flavoring. There's almost no actual cocoa in there. One food scientist described it as engineered nostalgia, with no redeeming qualities. It tastes like childhood because it's been around since 1931, not because it's good. Even kids know Tootsie Rolls are the worst candy in the bag. They're the ones left at the bottom, traded away, or quietly thrown out when parents aren't looking. If your own target audience doesn't want it, that should tell you something. So there you have it. 5 major candy brands, 5 serious reasons to rethink your Halloween shopping list. But what does all this actually mean for you? Remember when we said the scariest thing about Halloween might not be the costumes? Turns out the real horror is what's hiding inside those shiny wrappers. Hershey's with its vomit, acid, and heavy metals. M&M's with banned chemicals and artificial dyes. Nestle with a corporate rap sheet longer than your trick-or-treat route. Skittles facing lawsuits over toxic ingredients. And Tootsie Rolls that survive longer than most relationships. Here's the thing. You don't have to completely avoid these brands if you don't want to, but you should know what you're actually handing out. Europe banned half this stuff years ago. Maybe they know something we're just starting to figure out. Halloween is supposed to be fun, not a chemistry experiment with your kids as the test subjects. The best treat is knowing exactly what you're eating. These companies won't change until we demand better, and we can't demand better if we don't know the truth. So if this video made you rethink your candy bowl, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that questions what we're told is normal. Drop a comment and let us know which brand shocked you the most, or if you're planning to switch up your Halloween candy this year. And share this with someone who still buys these brands without reading the label. Because the scariest thing this Halloween shouldn't be the truth about what we're eating, it should be the decorations. Thanks for watching, and have a safe, informed, and actually happy Halloween.